You know that plate you broke and almost threw away? In Japan, someone would take that same piece, join the shards with liquid gold, and transform it into art. Not to hide the flaw, to celebrate it. And what if I told you that this way of thinking can eliminate the clutter from your home, without you needing to become a radical minimalist who lives in a white cube with 3 objects? Before continuing, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and leave a like if you are also tired of living surrounded by things that mean nothing, because what I am going to show you today is not about having less for the sake of having less. It is about having only what carries soul. How many times have you touched some object in your home and felt absolutely nothing? No joy, no good memory, no usefulness. Just weight. I grew up in a family that celebrated abundance. My mother accumulated like someone who breathes. Every room was a catalog, and I learned early on that having a lot was synonymous with success. But when I spent 5 years in Japan, I saw another story being told. Houses that breathed. Objects that had biographies. People who kept 3 cups because they did not need more. And there I understood. True luxury is not in quantity, it is in choice. Today I am going to introduce you to 5 ancestral Japanese rituals that transform the way you relate to your objects, your home, and ultimately, to yourself. Because the problem was never having things. The problem is having things without intention. Ritual 1. The tea ceremony and the art of full attention. The tea ceremony means the way of tea, and it has nothing to do with drinking tea in a hurry while you answer emails. It has to do with transforming the act of preparing and drinking tea into a ritual of total presence. The Japanese tea ceremony, which became popular in the 16th century with Master Sen no Rikyu, is based on 4 principles: harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility. Each movement is intentional. Each pause has meaning. Each object used in the ceremony was chosen carefully. It is not about the beverage. It is about the moment. It is about slowing down in a world that pushes you to run. Sen no Rikyu revolutionized the ceremony by making it simpler, more intimate, more accessible. He reduced the size of tea rooms so that people would sit closer together. He chose humble utensils instead of ostentatious ones. He taught that true elegance is not in what is expensive. It is in what is intentional. And do you know what the most powerful concept of the tea ceremony is? Ichigo Ichie. It means one meeting, one opportunity. The idea that each moment is unique and will never be repeated. Therefore, you must be completely present. I practice my personal version of the tea ceremony every morning. I wake up, prepare green tea in a ceramic bowl that has scars from time. I sit at my empty walnut table, and I drink in silence. I do not look at my phone. I do not think about the to-do list. I just drink, and in those 10 minutes, I exist completely. The tea ceremony ritual teaches you. Slowing down is not wasting time. It is gaining life. When you transform everyday gestures into rituals, you leave autopilot mode. You stop just doing. You start living. Apply the tea ceremony. Choose a daily activity. It can be drinking coffee, folding clothes, watering plants, and transform that into a ritual. Do it slowly. Do it with attention. Do it as if that were the only moment that matters. Because it is. A friend of mine kept complaining that she had no time for anything, but when I observed her, I realized she did everything at the same time. She drank coffee answering messages. She ate lunch working. She walked looking at her phone. She was always doing, but she was never present. I suggested she try the tea ceremony. Just once a day, do something with total attention. She chose breakfast. No phone. No TV. Just her, the cup, and the moment. After a month, she told me, "Naomi, I discovered that it is not that I do not have time. It is that I was never in the time that I had." This sums up the tea ceremony, and it sums up Japanese minimalism. It is not about having fewer things. It is about being more present with what you have. Ritual 2. The power of empty space. Ma is a Japanese philosophical concept that means the interval between things, the empty space, the silence between the notes, the breath between the words. And in Japanese architecture, ma is sacred. A traditional Japanese room is not decorated. It has space. And in that space, You breathe. You think. You exist without being suffocated by visual stimuli. When I started working as an organization consultant, I would enter homes where there was not a centimeter without an object. Crowded shelves, covered walls, packed side tables, and people would tell me, "I feel suffocated here, but I do not know why." The reason is Ma, or rather, the absence of it. Your brain needs visual pauses. Just as you cannot hear music if all instruments play at the same time at maximum volume, you cannot relax in an environment where everything screams for attention. Ma is not only about aesthetics, it is about mental functionality. Studies show that visually polluted environments increase cortisol, the stress hormone. Our brain spends energy trying to process all visual stimuli, and at the end of the day, you are exhausted without knowing why. The Ma ritual is revolutionary. Leave empty spaces on purpose. A shelf with nothing, a wall without a picture, a table without ornaments, and observe how that transforms the energy of the environment. I have a walnut dining table that has nothing on top. No centerpiece, no permanent decoration, just the wood. And when I sit there to drink tea, I feel peace. Because there is no visual noise, just presence. By the way, do you know what happens when you leave a surface completely empty? It becomes an invitation to place a teacup, to open a book, to rest your hands and just sit. But when that same surface is full of decorative objects, it becomes an obstacle. You cannot use it. It only exists to be seen. And that is sad. Apply Ma. Choose a surface in your home and empty it completely. Live like this for a month. You will never want to fill that space again. Because you will understand that emptiness is not absence. It is maximum presence. Ritual 3. The active refusal of the unnecessary. Danshari is not about detachment. It is about not attaching from the beginning. The word has 3 parts. Dan, refuse what enters. Sha, discard what does not serve. Re, separate from material attachment. It is a life philosophy that trains you to say no before clutter reaches you. You know that free promotional pen you take because it is free? That paper bag that might be useful someday? That decorative object your aunt gave you and you did not like but kept to not hurt her feelings? All of this is the opposite of Danshari. Japanese author Hideko Yamashita popularized this concept by showing that accumulating objects is not just a physical space problem. It is a psychological and energetic problem. Your home is the reflection of your mind. If your home is cluttered, your mind is too. There are no exceptions. The Danshari ritual is simple. Before buying, stop. Before accepting, question. Before keeping, reflect. Always ask yourself, do I need this now? Do I have physical and mental space for this? Will this add value to my life or just more visual noise? A client of mine had a huge house full of things she needed to keep for the grandchildren. The grandchildren were 3 years old. She died before they were old enough to use anything. The family donated everything. Nobody wanted it. The Danshari lesson is harsh, but liberating. You do not own things. You are hostage to them, unless you choose otherwise. And attention, Danshari is not about living with the minimum because you have no choice. That is necessity. Danshari is about choosing to live with the essential because you understood that this is luxury. It is about having money to buy 20 coats and choosing to have 5. That is freedom. Ritual 4. The art of valuing scars. In the 15th century, Shogun Ashikaga Yoshimasa sent a tea ceremony cup to be repaired in China. When it came back, it was attached with horrible metal staples. Offended, he asked Japanese artisans to find another solution, and they did something unexpected. They took lacquer mixed with gold powder and glued the pieces together, leaving the seams completely visible. More than visible, shining. Kintsugi was born, the technique that does not disguise the break. That does not try to make you forget that it once cracked. It celebrates. Because the scar tells a story, and the story is what makes something irreplaceable. The philosophy behind this ancestral technique has deep roots in wabi-sabi, the concept that teaches finding beauty in the imperfect, in the incomplete, in the transitory. It is not about pretending nothing happened. It is about honoring what happened and making that part of the narrative of the object. Each crack filled with gold is not a fixed defect. It is a written chapter. Apply this in your life. Before discarding that imperfect object, ask yourself if it has history. If it does, it deserves to be kept. If not, why is it still taking up space in your home? I saw a friend, years ago, keep cracked dishes to use on a daily basis. The good ones stay for special occasions. She died without using the good ones, and the cracked ones stayed there, ugly, without value, without memory. This is not economy. It is abandonment. The kintsugi ritual teaches you, if you are going to keep it, let it be with honor. If you do not honor it, discard it without guilt. Because a home should not be a storage of mediocre objects waiting for a special day that never comes. It should be a personal museum of your intentional choices. A few years ago, I broke a ceramic bowl that my grandmother Akiko gave me. I thought about throwing it away, but I looked at those shards and saw decades of shared teas. It was restored with the kintsugi technique. Today, that bowl with golden veins is on my table, and every time I serve tea in it, I feel gratitude. Not for perfection, for history. Ritual 5. The silent conversation with nature. Ikebana means living flowers. But it has nothing to do with those huge bouquets full of flowers screaming for attention. It has to do with 3 branches. 1 flower. Empty space. And the question, what is this saying? The practice was born in Buddhist temples in the 6th century, as an offering, but it evolved into something greater. A moment of active meditation where you choose, cut, position, in silence, with intention. Each stem represents something, the sky, the earth, humanity. And the arrangement does not seek symmetry. It seeks balance. I learned about Ikebana through my grandmother. She had a single ceramic vase at the entrance of the house, and every week she changed the arrangement. Never the same, always with what the season offered. A dry branch in autumn, a cherry blossom in spring, a green branch in summer. It was simple. It was perfect. And do you know what she told me once? Naomi, when you put many flowers, they compete. When you put few, they converse. That changed my life. What does Ikebana teach you about clutter? Fewer elements, more presence. You do not need 15 decorative vases. You need one that you love and that you transform every week with attention. The practice of Ikebana also teaches about transience. Flowers wilt, branches dry, and it is all right, because beauty is not in making something last forever. Beauty is in honoring the time it has. Apply now. Choose a corner of your home. Remove everything. Leave only one object that you truly love. Live with that for a week. You will realize that you did not miss anything, and that object alone gained life. Bonus. How the 5 rituals connect. Notice how these 5 rituals speak to each other. Kintsugi teaches you to honor what has history. Ikebana teaches you to value the essential. Danshari teaches you to refuse what does not serve. Ma teaches you to create space to breathe. The tea ceremony teaches you to be present in the moment. Together, they form a complete life philosophy. A philosophy that has nothing to do with deprivation. It has to do with intention, with conscious choice, with silent elegance. Because ultimately, true prestige is not having a lot. It is having exactly what you need, and knowing exactly why each thing is there. Real stories, transformations I witnessed. Let me tell you about 3 people who applied these rituals and transformed their lives. Sophia, 38 years old, lawyer. She lived in an apartment full of things, overflowing closets, crowded shelves, and she felt anxious all the time. She applied Danshari and got rid of 70% of her belongings. Today, she tells me, I did not know I lived in a prison until I left it. Marcus, 45 years old, entrepreneur. He had a huge house, full of expensive furniture and decorative objects, but he never felt at peace. He applied the concept of Ma and completely emptied 3 rooms. He left only the essential. He told me, Naomi, for the first time in my life, I can think inside my own house. Helen, 52 years old, teacher. She kept everything for the children. Old clothes, books, objects. The house was a storage. The children grew up and did not want anything. She applied kintsugi, not literally, but philosophically, and decided, I will keep only what has deep meaning to me. The rest goes away. She donated 15 boxes of things. And she told me, crying, I feel light for the first time in 30 years. These are not stories of people who became radical minimalists. These are stories of people who chose to live with intention, and that changed everything. These 5 rituals, kintsugi, ikebana, danshari, ma, and the tea ceremony, are not rigid rules. They are invitations. Invitations for you to rethink your relationship with objects, with space, and especially with yourself. Because ultimately, true minimalism is not about having little. It is about having the essential. And the essential always carries soul, history, intention. Recapping what we learned today. Kintsugi. Honor the scars or discard without guilt. If it has no history, it does not deserve space. Ikebana. Fewer elements, more presence. One loved object is worth more than 10 forgotten ones. Danshari. Refuse before it enters. Do not let clutter reach you. Ma. Let the emptiness breathe. Empty space is not absence. It is maximum presence. Tea ceremony. Slow down and be present. Transform everyday gestures into sacred rituals. If this video touched you in any way, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, especially if you want to cultivate a life with more lightness, sophistication, and intention. Because here at Minimalist Charm, we do not teach living with less. We teach living with what matters. And now tell me, I honor what I have. Write this in the comments if you are ready to transform your home into a place that reflects who you truly are and not what you accumulated unintentionally. See you in the next video. With elegance, always. Naomi Yamada.